All right, we are live. This is Reverend Dr. Michelle Walker with you with Empowering Intuitives Explored Talk Show. We're just going to wait a few minutes for everybody to come on in, and we have an amazing guest tonight, my friend and fellow Rev.Cheri Seerlinger from the Stoneworks Wellness Center in Erie, PA. Hi, Cheri, how are you?
Oh, hi. I'm doing good. How are you?
Just wonderful. Thank you. So wonderful to have you on. So let's see here. We're going to share this out a little bit and see if we can't let our viewers know that we are live and see who all wants to come in and interact tonight. I love the topic that we are going to discuss tonight because it's so powerful for people that are new maybe on this spiritual journey. Well, hello, Noelle. Welcome, love. A lot of people new on the spiritual journey end up stumbling across crystals. And, that is just a whole specialty in itself. And thank you so much for sharing, my dear. And, I think it's just really important that we're going to talk about maybe give some guidance on crystals. Since your wellness shop, you have a lot of absolutely gorgeous crystals.
Yeah, I do. People come in for many reasons. A lot of times it's for healing properties, and other times it's for the intuition and boost and growing and connecting. So I get to help people on so many different levels with just the crystals. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where I first stumbled across crystals was in my healing practice. I think it started with Reiki, and then you kind of amped it up a little bit by adding in some quartz crystals, and then we added different crystals for the different chakras.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
and so a lot of people, like I like that you said that they come through the healing journey or possibly just building their intuition.
Right. They're doing an altar or something like that. Yeah. And what's really funny is people used to come in and they wanted direction. They wanted, what should I get? What's a good starter? And so I kind of stopped doing that. It was kind of spoon feeding them, and they weren't really growing on their own if everybody spoon feeds them. So I just said, well, you know what? I want you to just look at this wall of stones, go over it slowly, and then just see where you're drawn,
Oh.
and then let me know what that is. And so they would, and we'd look up the stone together, and I let them read it, and they're like, oh my God.
Oh, I love that. I think that is such a powerful thing because you're
Every
teaching
time.
them just to follow their own
Exactly.
gut instinct and their own
Exactly.
intuition, and they're using their clairsentience to feel the
Yep.
different stones. That's awesome.
And then I teach them how to do the human pendulum to find out if, it will serve their highest good. Yeah, we have a lot of fun in my shop.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome because it sounds like what most people experience is whatever they selected, whether they have a clue what it is or not, it is really what's going on in their life right now.
Yep.
Spirit is really guiding them in it.
And when they see that, it is just amazing. And one of the kickoffs I kind of explained to them is like, you have your own energy that's unique to you, just like your thumbprint. And
Right.
everything is energy. So those crystals all have their own unique vibration as well. And so when you feel that pull, it's the vibration of whatever it is you're being drawn to and your vibration, and they're talking, and it's something you can benefit from them. And that's what that pull is. Isn't
That's
that cool?
awesome. That
It
is so
is.
awesome.
It
And,
is.
I remember one time, when we were in Fellowships of the Spirit together, we used to have the highlights of going over to the crystal shop.
Oh, yeah.
And Crystal Cove. Woo, spend a lot of money in there. But, the one time I was in there and I really, exactly what you talked about, you felt that vibration, you felt that pull. I could hear it singing to me, and I found the most amazing pendant. And it just feels so warm and wonderful
Yep.
every time that I wear it, because it really did resonate and it still does.
Isn't that amazing?
Fantastic. Yeah, I feel amazing every time I wear it. The turquoise and moonstone. Who would have figured? But those two stones speak to me.
Yep.
As you can tell, I have my moonstone on because we're now in a new moon, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So So I think for me personally, there's a couple stones that I found were really powerful for my intuition. One, I am such a strong empath that I find that the moon energies really push and pull me. And I find that to be true for a lot of people. So moonstones for me are like lifesavers. And when there's a new moon and a full moon, I have rings, I got earrings, I'm bathing in it if I can. It just seems to ground and center a little bit. So, what do you think about the moonstones? What else do you think that they do for you?
Moonstone. It is definitely a connection stone. What do I use that for? Let me see. Do we have? Let me look at references here.
Oh, there you go.
It's a guiding light. Help
Yeah.
to ground moon energies is what you have on your little thing you sent. But Moonstone, I should have my book up here because there's so many. I used to know more before I owned a crystal shop, okay?
That's funny.
There are just so many more than what I ever had looked into.
Right.
But it is a balancer, definitely, around, those moons for sure. But it's also enlightenment. It's also a reflective stone. And it has some of the properties that you would go to with like Labradorite because it has that shine, that shimmer and stuff. So it's connecting, it's a soothing. So many of them really are. You think you're like a broken record on a few of them, but I think that's an underlining on most of them. And there's just a beautiful stone. There's different kinds of moonstone. There is the rainbow, which is the pretty shimmery one that has that flash of blue all in it and different colors. And then you have them where it just has that milky sheen to it. And they're like earth tones and creams and reds and browns in it. And I actually have spheres that are the black and it has white linings in it and stuff. And that's really pretty. So there's so many different variances of each stone that, just kind of got to go with what you are drawn to and then go into it and find out what are the properties for that particular species of the stone,
Yes, for sure.
It's crazy.
Has a great question she's asking what's the best stone to enhance joy?
To enhance joy.
So,
I say one of them is lapis lazuli.
Yes.
Lapis lazuli is a good joy stone. I think that actually the moonstone, the rainbow moonstone also brings in joy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The other one I would say, so like this is the moonstone. I have some of the stones here. You said lapis. There's lapis.
Yep.
Beautiful blue. And I think maybe why I'm off camera. Why this one helps is it helps open the third eye. So, maybe that's why it enhances joy so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
do you know that lapis lazuli also, it helps with your blood and cholesterol and all of this other stuff too? Mm-hmm. It is a crazy stone. It does so much. Absolutely.
It really does. The other one that I think finds a lot of joy is citrine. Citrine is such an amazing stone to calm babies, and amber as well. But citrine is really helps with that positive play and that joy and that bliss. Citrine is a great stone.
And what happens? What happens What happens when we bring up our vibration? Good things come to us.
That's true.
And citrine does that, and it's also known as the abundance stone.
Yeah, there you go. So perfect.
Yeah.
Well, fluorite, and that does help as well because fluorite also, and I love fluorite. Fluorite is great. I have these like palm stones of fluorite around because they help with EMFs, but this also helps with clear thinking.
Yeah.
So, exactly why you asked.
I use selenite for the clear thinking. I'm sold on the selenite.
Yeah. Well, and fluoride helps you get in the flow. It helps with the flow, getting in the flow. So that's a really great stone. I love the fluoride. And Selenite. I have these everywhere. I love selenite. I have selenite lights. I have selenite towers. I have selenite everywhere. This is a great stone to for clearing. And all of my nieces I have gifted them selenite because it helps with the vibration. It helps with them. I feel like it helps them stay more centered. If they feel like they need a little protection, it's not quite as strong as some of the obsidian and black tourmaline
Oh, you
and
would be
tiger's
surprised.
eye for that. But this is
Mm.
such a powerful stone, and it clears other stones. I have selenite plates that I put all
What
my
it
other
does is it
crystals in.
charges. It charges the other stones. And it's been proven if you take one selenite in each hand for 15 minutes, it will balance all your meridians. And it's been proven through muscle testing.
Nice.
It gives you clarity and thought. It's a
Mhm.
great protection stone. It's a grounding stone. It's wonderful for meditation. It is an awesome, awesome stone.
Elizabeth said selenite's all over my house. She's there.
Yeah. Good
For
choice.
For sure, it's everywhere. Every room has selenite, at least a couple pieces. So I can't say enough about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for the questions, guys. I love the interaction. I think it's fantastic. And I appreciate you sharing this out with your groups and out on Facebook. Awesome. So let's see. So another stone that when we think about intuition, one stone comes to mind more probably than others. Amethyst, right?
I was going to say, I thought that's what you were going to say. And
you might be psychic. You went right where I was going.
There are different types of amethyst as well. And but it is,
Yes.
that is such a huge stone, not, for your intuition, absolutely. But it's also known as an addiction stone. Addictions is a thought pattern. It could be anything. It breaks that habit. And it really
nice.
helps. Yeah, it does so many things. And I think I can relate that to like lavender oils. If you're into home, the essential oils, lavender does so much. And it actually helps with reducing pain and stuff. And so can lapis. Amethyst. Yeah.
Yes. I think, it is the one that we used for the crown connection and enhancing that. And I like the chevrons, the amethyst, the chevron amethyst. I'm always called to those for whatever reason. And that's why you see those big, beautiful geodes that are like, they're very expensive when you get the big amethyst geodes, but you can feel the energy radiate off of those and in that whole room. I love amethyst. It's a fantastic stone. And one thing, and this kind of brought up about one of my nieces. She's 14 and she's just getting into this. And what better way than to start with like little tumbled stones, and there's like a little wired baskets that you put those in, and you can hang them around. There you go, cage basket. But yeah, like, so I started to teach slowly by these little. It's cheap. It's cost effective, and that helps them start to tap into their own feelings, and then try to decide, how do I feel today, and what could I possibly use here to help me.
Yep, absolutely. And, before you ever use a stone or pendulum or anything, pendulum asks permission first. Well, I would sit there and I'd find out which crystals I would need that day. And those are the ones I would wear in one way or another. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. You give the 7 chakra stones as a starter kit. Yes, absolutely. I love those. And they have such unique ways that they're presented, those little starter kits. They're so nice.
And it's nice. I sell them as well. And what I tell them is, don't take them all at once. Take one at a time and just spend time with it and allow your energies to integrate and get the feeling of that stone. Because actually in my spiritual walk I was all trying to get all those stones lined up and had everything I needed, and all this. And what Spirit simply said? It's in your spiritual basket. Once you connect and have that vibration, it's in your toolbox.
Nice. Nice, nice. Well, and I
So
like that because, it's not just about acquiring them, it's about actually working with them. And,
yes.
I had my niece, Gabby, we were sitting there and I said, I just want you to sit with your stone. That's it. Just like get the feel for it, how it makes you feel. And I said, and if you hear anything, because she's pretty strong at hearing spirit. And I said, if you hear anything, one of the stone, like I love my stones talk to me. Like stones are very powerful and they hold a lot of energy,
They do.
and we just don't realize that. And like when I got my little rose quartz skull, well, she was very talkative, so we've had lots of conversations. I got her name, I got all kinds of information, and it was very powerful when I received her. And to answer Elizabeth's question, rose quartz is really good for the heart connector because it taps
Yes.
into your inner love. And a couple other stones that I like for the heart, and then Cheri, you can answer this, is aventurine. Whoop, there you go. Like I like that for the heart, and it's about overcoming obstacles in the heart and about finding those answers within. So that's a really great little stone. Do you have any of your favorite for the heart?
There's the rose opal that's from Peru, and I love stuff from Peru. It's just
Ooh.
that's a really good one. And it also helps break that mind heart connection instead of keep on picking the scab with your thoughts. Helps you to break that. And then
Ooh.
also unakite is a jasper. It's pink and green, and it is an amazing stone as well. Those are huge heart ones. And then Garnerite, I know we're getting out into other things, but Garnerite is huge for heart as well. And sometimes when I'm doing healing work, I'll say, do you mind if I use a stone on you? And I wind up going and getting a Garnerite if I feel a lot of stuff in their heart going on. So
Nice.
yeah, there's just, a lot of them do a lot of heart work, but those are my main to go. And then also, we're skipping over to another rock now, but actually it's a glass, and that is the obsidian, the
Mm.
volcanic glass. That is so powerful. And with those two, there you go. It's the trump of all protection stones.
Mm-hmm.
And the American Native Americans, they believe that, and so do the Peruvian shamans.
Nice.
And when I see them connecting on two different continents, the same thing, I think that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
But it not only protects you, but it helps you to release what doesn't serve you. And that's one of the biggest
Mm.
things that we're up against in this day and age. Or we're trying to heal, or hopefully, because we
Right.
we put on so much baggage, we don't even know what all we're stuffed in there. So
For sure.
that's one thing that helps allow it to come out. And sometimes people call it the dark night of the soul. It doesn't really cause that unless you got a lot of stuff that you haven't never tried to deal with. But that's the time to release it, not to hang on to it, not to stuff it back in. Let it go. Release it with love and light. Yeah.
I think Black Obsidian is one of my favorites because it's very powerful protecting stone, but it feels
Mm-hmm.
softer to me than some of the other stones.
Yeah.
Like I like Tiger's Eye for protection as well. It's a little bit softer. And then Black Tourmaline, which is I just feel like more masculine and more
Mm-hmm.
intense of an energy.
Yep. Yep.
So I think the other thing to think about is there's always, regardless of what you're looking for that stone for, there's several choices. And so you have to go back to what you originally said, Cheri, is you have to trust your guts on how
Yep.
you feel.
Yep.
I remember
Absolutely.
I passed black tourmaline multiple times, except when I was purchasing stones for my home and setting one of my grids. And it was like, yes, we're going, that's the only thing that it wanted was the black tourmaline, more powerful. And I was like, well, that's interesting because I don't normally work with that one. So
Yeah.
you never know what situation or what will call for what stone. So it's kind of neat that there's multiple choices for us
There
to
is. There really is. A lot
decide.
of them overlap in different areas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the ones
Absolutely.
one of the ones that I know a lot of my friends that love working with angels really like to work with is either angelite or the celestite.
Celestite. Yep.
There you
Yep.
go. So
Yep.
that's for like the cosmic thinking and the angelic realm. So any
Yes.
of you, angel healers out there, you already know all about those stones. But I think that's another softer way for intuitives to tap into that realm. It's a fun energy, but I noticed that it's not. It can sometimes be make you feel a little dizzy, so it's not always the best for kiddos, little kiddos that are trying to learn. So maybe once they get their vibe up a little bit, then that would be an okay one for
Well,
them. But it is a softer energy in it, but it can make you a little dizzy, like Moldavite. People that are called to Moldavite, that can really get some people. If you're not called to it yet, it can make you feel really lightheaded and spinning. But
or hot, burning up, and people throw it.
I have a funny story about that. Good evening, ladies. I have a funny story about that. One time we were in a Reiki class, right? And we're doing just giving some energy, and then they were trying to ask us to look, and I just felt like I was spinning in this tunnel, and this was like, I don't know, 15 years ago, and I'm like thinking there's something wrong with me. I'm not seeing anything, and I'm a strong seer. And so I said, all I see is spinning. I don't know. I said, do you have something in your pocket? He whips out this piece of Moldavite. It blocked me from seeing it.
Oh,
Literally, I felt
wow.
like I was spinning in a circle. And then after he took it off, then I could, and then we could do the exercise. But I just remember that. It was just so pronounced to me. And I find that happens to other people. Now I wear it like, my bracelet has 9 big pieces in it. And people are like, oh my goodness, how can you wear that? I'm like, it doesn't affect me now.
Well, that Moldavite, Ashtar, the Ascended Master, actually infused it with its energy as it came into our solar system.
Nice.
Yep.
A
It's
very
pretty awesome.
powerful stone
Yep.
for people that are looking for that galactic connection and
Yep.
really feel pulled in that direction. So that's another great
A
one.
lot of people are going there right now.
For sure, for sure.
Yep.
It's really I think it goes through cycles where gemstones are become more popular, and then the more people are awakening, they're finding that it's a softer, more subtle way to help them help themselves, if you will.
And natural too.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
They understand what's going on, and are they going crazy or what's happening? And then when you say, would you really like to know? I can help you with that. And then I let them pick stones, and they're like, oh my God. They just can't even believe it. It's so wonderful.
Hi guys, welcome. We're talking about crystals. The other one that I think is a really cool stone is the malachite. And that helps people not only connect in the heart, but just to help raise their vibration, I think. It's a good grounding stone for me personally. What are your thoughts on malachite?
Well, malachite can be a little tricky. It's not for everybody. Just a really quick story. Years ago, I wanted malachite. And I have a niece that lives in England, and she was going to get me a malachite. And they have stores like that all over the place. And she went in, and nobody would sell it to her because she wasn't a healer. Oh. And she says, but it's not for me. It's my aunt. She is. Nobody would sell her a malachite. So she got me a beautiful pendant online and had it mailed to me. And so I always had that in the back of my mind. That's funny how they would not sell it to her. And then in the store, I had a friend, and she had it in her hand for a good half hour walking around the store and stuff. And she went to lay him down on the counter. She goes, oh my God, what's wrong? My hands, my arms. Well, she had a reaction to it. And so she started getting marbling on her hands. Sometimes you get a rash on it and stuff. So raw is a little bit more tricky than the polished, but rinse it off. And if you still have that, then it's not for you. But I think a year and a half later, she came back and she was able to purchase it. It was something going on within herself that she could not have that at that time. It's called the healer's stone, but you do have to make sure that you don't have an allergic reaction to it. And usually it's the powder from it. If not, but it's pretty cool to know those things.
Well, and I agree with you. I think that for me personally, malachite didn't come into my life for many years after I got into crystals. And then working on grounding is when that actually came in, and being more heart-centered in the earth. And that's when this then came into play for me. So I agree with that. I think that, there's so many uh, amazing stones out there, and you just have to just kind of go with your own gut instincts. And
Yeah.
when I had my one niece down and she was going through, I loved watching her, like, oh, I think I need this, and she had done research, and she came with a list of stones she wanted to check out. And so it was really neat that she was looking at the properties and what can she do with this and what is it going to help her with. And and these are a lot of teenagers are coming into that right now. They really
Yeah,
are. It's
they
kind of
are.
neat.
Yes, they are. And TikTok's like huge. I don't have any
Oh.
Moldavite left. I'm waiting for more now because it completely sold me out because of TikTok.
Oh, nice. Nice.
They
Well,
go
that's
through their
great.
fads. Yeah, yeah.
What's great that I love that people are awakening to
Mhm.
the healing properties, and ways that you can utilize this more natural way to build your intuition. One of the stones I really like,
What is
sodalite.
that? Oh, yes, soda light.
Sodalite, definitely build your intuition, helps you find your voice.
Yes, it does.
It helps you really stand within your own power and speak your truth. And when I had this gifted to me, I was like, I am in need of doing that in a very nice way. And when I read the properties, I was like, oh, this is so appropriate for what I
Yeah.
needed to do at the time. And it stands as a reminder to me that sometimes even when we think we're speaking our truth, we're not always speaking our truth because we're trying
Exactly.
to um, dim our light, or we're trying to make peace for everybody else, but we really
Yeah.
don't just speak our truth in a loving and compassionate way. And when we just do it in a loving, compassionate way, it serves the highest of all. But
Well,
it's a
that's just
process we
it.
have to
There,
learn.
especially if you're a sensitive being and you're newer on the path, it's just like you don't want to cause any friction with anybody, but I tell people all the time, you need that validation. You really do. So speak it in love and pray and
Yes, for
ask for that
sure.
opportunity. But if you're speaking from the heart, it's hard to take that the wrong way.
Right, right, for sure. Elizabeth says she has a small piece of moldavite but would love a larger piece. Well, Elizabeth, you can follow Cheri at Stoneworks Wellness Center on Facebook, and she does some lives, and she'll be going live when she gets more on. And you can just reach out with her, and she can show you some pieces and work with you long in distance.
I can do a personal online shopping. Yeah. So I can just really just zoom in on all that. And her and I just talk about just that and wouldn't have to worry about anything else that's going on in the store.
So she can
Yeah.
definitely hook you up
I'm
with
going to
this.
get some really nice pieces already set in jewelry too. So that's
Nice.
coming from the Tucson area. Yeah.
She's already following you, she says.
Oh, is she?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah,
Great.
you have some amazing pieces, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And so talk about, I know a lot of people talk about labradorite, and because it has that beautiful shimmer and shine to it. And like, I love my moonstones. There's people that absolutely love their labradorite.
I do. I love Labradorite. I love all the iridescence, okay?
Yeah. Shiny
Yeah.
objects, right?
And then once you get into it and you realize that there's different colors of sheen mean different things. And the golden sheen one is the most highest vibration of them all. And then there's
Mm.
also, they even have one that has the purple sheen in it. Oh, are they gorgeous? I
Mm.
just love them. And I think that they definitely bring me joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Just
I love Labradorite.
Do you guys,
It's
if you
it's
have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions about any particular stones that you have questions on, or if you want to know about a different stone, or anything like that. Please feel free to interact. This is the best part about this. It's a really just kind of laid back kind of talk show that we love crystals. We love working with them. Um, you know, One thing I think that people need to remember, if you have a bunch of crystals, you have to remember that, as with anything else, you have to care for them. You have to nurture them and care for them. That means you have to clear them. That means you have to sit with them and
yeah,
make sure that they're
compatible.
yes, Yes, yes. So, what can you talk a little bit about ways to clear your stones and like how you do it?
How I do it, and it goes back to the Native Americans and the shaman from Peru, and that's vibration. And I believe vibration is everything. But the Peruvian shamans, they sit there and they'll kind of take their stones in their hand and they feel a little heavy. So they just drop them on, they don't have nice valuable ones probably, but they drop them on the ground and they keep picking and reassessing and dropping them until they feel clear. And then they put them in their pocket and move on. Native Americans, they say everything's secondary to vibration. And I'm like, really? So I actually, at my store, I have those Tibetan tingsha bells.
Mm-hmm.
And people say, can you clear my stones for me, please? And so we do. And I do 3 times because that's a sacred. And I clean people's stones all the time and just clear them. And every once in a while, I go through the whole store and I just play sing bowl with the intent to clear those stones with the vibrations.
Nice.
Isn't that awesome?
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. There, and so that's to clear them. And then also, there are 3 stones that never need to be cleansed. That would be the citrine, kyanite, and selenite. Those 3 never need to be cleaned, and they all do wonders for your other stones.
Mm-hmm.
I have a great big amethyst geode, and I have a citrine in the little corner of the inside cavity to keep it nice and clear and stuff. Yeah, you can put a selenite in there. You can put a kyanite in there. But these are just natural ways of how they congrugnate. Didn't say that right, but I do know that there are master crystals. And so when you have a bunch of crystals and you want to put them all together and all of a sudden you're finding some of them are popped out and stuff, you can actually take a pendulum or an L rod and you can lay them all out and just say, show me which ones are the masters. See if you got more than one, and take the masters separate and then ask if any of these masters would like to work together. And then you can actually form which groups go to which master. It's crazy, but it's true. Isn't it crazy? Makes things a lot better on the energy zones too.
Right.
When everything's in harmony and balance. Yeah.
Right. Well, that's something that unless you had a shop, we would not even think about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that makes sense, for if you have a lot of stones, what do you do with them at your house? And are they playing well together? So I really like that. Yeah. I need to do that too.
I had one guy come in, then next time he comes in, he says, I've got 7 groups.
That's so funny. And it's interesting because when I spring clean, I kind of take down my grids. I take them all down. I clean everything. And then once I do the cleaning and the clearing, then I reset a grid. And they're always different when I do that, but the one time I did it, I had a stone that just kept coming off of my window ledge. And I'm thinking, there's nothing here. Is spirit just messing with me?
Well, that's just like, okay, say you got your starter kit and you've got all the chakra stones. And so you lay down on your bed or the floor and you put them to each spot where they belong. And one keeps falling off. It's because you don't need that one.
Yep.
You're okay. Yep. And they're just like, boop, nope, not this time.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's true, though. So
it really is.
It's always fluctuating. So yeah, for sure.
It's an energetic thing.
So Elizabeth would like to know about Skolasite. SCOL.
Skolasite. Yes.
There you go. Tell us about that.
Well, I don't know the study on it. I'd have to probably look that one up, but I do have it in my one of my cases. It's very, very fragile. It's white. It's beautiful. You're looking it up, Michelle?
Yeah, I'm like, wow, what is that one? I don't know that one.
Yeah, well, it's not just an average stone.
Oh, yes. Okay, no, I've seen that. Actually, I think I have one upstairs. That's kind of like porcupined out a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a zeolite containing the mineral. Okay.
Well, see, I didn't know it was a zeolite. I know a bunch of zeolites, and I would have never thought that one was. And it has some pretty nice big pieces, too, though. Yeah.
Very nice.
What I like on those zeolites is I'm going to go blank on it now because I was going to say it.
So
It's
that's
called
interesting. Yeah. So this is a vibrational
the
crystal, high
apophyllite.
vibrational crystal.
Right. The
Oh,
apophyllite.
totally. Oh,
The apophyllite is the Reiki stone, and that's a zeolite.
yes.
Prehnite
Yes.
comes in that. It so does celestite.
Yes. Pre-night. Oh, I like that. I like that stone.
That is the
That's a very
emotional
high
soap.
vibrational one too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
emotional soap.
for sure. Well, this one, Elizabeth, this one is actually awakens your heart too. And it's about your spiritual connection. So that's neat.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great little stone. I like that. Cool. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many. And I love when I go into a crystal shop, I'm always learning about a new stone and I'm always
Yeah.
drawn to them at the time. And again, it goes back to just trusting your instincts. And then it's like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going through right now. And, and it's funny because even one time I had my first piece of selenite actually was gifted to me from somebody that didn't know anything about crystals, walked into a crystal shop and said, I wanted to purchase a necklace. And so what would what did they suggest? And they brought me the selenite and it was like the most perfect thing at that time for me. And I was like, how did you know? Because actually, I was getting the intuitive hits. I needed to get a selenite. And I'm thinking, how did you know this? But spirit knows. And so they were like, yep, give her that. That's what she needs right now. So
Yep.
it always comes to us one way or another, the way when we need it.
That is for sure.
So you have it by your bed. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that we have to talk about is as we talked about is crystals about the vibration, right? And crystal grids. So we have a few minutes. Let's talk about crystal grids. I love crystal grids. Setting them up in my home, it's a palpable difference. When you enter a room that has a crystal grid. And
do you do the feng shui?
I do. And I go with whatever spirit has called. And it's so funny when people come into my home, they always say, I feel like I'm getting this warm hug. And it has a higher vibration with all the selenite and rose quartz and amethyst. And this is what's all in my kind of crystal grids, right? But it is palpable. And even like my little nieces, I would give them, I said, well, what do we want to put in the room? Like, what do you feel? And so just going by what they're saying they were feeling in their rooms, we would set the grids. And then they're like, I do notice a big difference just by putting these in the corners of the room. And, it's fun to teach about that. Why don't you talk to me about crystal grids and what you think?
Crystal grids. Well, I remember when I first started working with crystal grids and I had a lot of crystals in there and I put it under my bed. Oh my goodness. All night long. That thing came out in a hurry.
That's funny.
So I don't put any grids under my bed ever again.
No.
I was learning. So anybody out there trying it, avoid that. and so then like you can do like a prosperity one, and that's in your southeast corner of your house with being feng shui. You can put your financial stuff in there. So, you can put a money tree or anything like that in there for abundance, your citrine and all that stuff. Tiger's eye, pyrite. Those are my to-goes on that. Yeah. And to just bring love in, and, you just got to go with what you actually, I don't follow gridding, and I've never really read a book on gridding. So I just pretty much, put what I feel needs to go there intuitively as well. Yeah. And it definitely makes a shift. Absolutely. And so sometimes protection, you would have your selenite, but I'd have my like Apache tear on the corners or something like that. You can do a protection when you can use your black tourmaline, whatever, you're called to, stuff like that. But anything going on with your life and especially in the home. Say you have a child that's afraid in the room, a protection and a love and protection grid would really help them to sleep better and subside all those fears that they have. It's just amazing what little things we can do.
One of my favorite things to do and to gift my friends that have babies is a little rose quartz lamp and a little piece of selenite to put in the room, and it just
Perfect.
is very calming,
Yes.
beautiful energy.
Yes.
So I love that. That's every single person gets that. It's just wonderful.
Yes.
Something that I wish whenever I had my child that I would have known to do.
I didn't know any of this stuff.
Nope.
When I were little.
Nope, no, me either. And I've never read or studied on grids. I've always just received the information from spirit, and I've always questioned. I'm not sure exactly who in spirit is telling me about these grids, but they've always cautioned me not having a grid. It was more important for me to have these certain kind of grids on the property and in the house, and I'm like, whatever, okay, I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Yeah.
And it makes a huge difference for sure, I find. But there are lots of books out there, and again, it goes back to just what does your gut feeling tell you, and what I had worked with my niece was, well, what was it that you were feeling in the house that you wish you would change? And she said, I wanted calm or quiet, and I wanted just feel more peaceful in my bed because she was having a hard time sleeping. I said, oh, okay, perfect. So then I said, all right, spirit, let's ask spirit and let's see what we get. And so I had her kind of like go through the process of asking and then waiting for a couple of days and asking again. Like every night she was asking for different crystals that would be appropriate, and then she looked them up in her little crystal books that I gave her. And then I said, okay, so when you decide, when you feel strong enough that this is what you want to do, then you let me know, and then we'll go and we'll work on getting those crystals. So she ended up selecting selenite and rose quartz, and I believe we had obsidian was her other one that she chose, and she loves it. She's sleeping better. She just feels calmer. Oh, and she had a jasper under her bed. So that's a very grounding stone, and it helped her calm. Yeah. So that's the other one that I love. And I used to all the time have was red jasper, because I tend to be really airy-fairy with the energies and be out there when I sleep. And I find and can be like astral traveling and just going and not resting. So sometimes that little red jasper goes back under the bed and helps me stay a little bit more grounded.
Absolutely. Then another thing for sleep is that Himalayan salt lamps. They are just amazing. And they really, some people, it is so powerful. They're back getting one for every one of their kids in their rooms. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. Well, it's really cute. In my office, one of the nurses, I had one in there, and she got one to put out at the front office and then in their offices. And, the doc was like, what is that? And they're like, well, but it's calming. We like it. It gives us this nice calming energy. And he's just like, what the heck? You're all in on it, But I'll tell you what, we have a really great vibe of the room. And,
it calms their anxiety before they come in and talk to you.
Well, it's an allergy office, so they're thinking needles and all of this. So yes, it is very calming. So yeah, I find that it really does, and shifts the whole, because we have them spaced out in the whole big office. So it really does have a great vibe.
Yep. I have young guys that come in and they filled their apartments up, and people come in and say, why does it always feel so good in here?
So there you are, gentlemen. There's your dating tip. Have lots of crystals and a Himalayan salt lamp or two, and the girls will love hanging out there.
Yes, they will. That's fantastic. Honestly, he could, I think he bought so many that he's kind of filled up, so I don't see him much anymore. But yeah, people just couldn't understand why it felt so good in his
Smart
apartment.
Guy. He's
and he's in his 20s, That
Love
is
it.
very cool. Yeah. You think the girls, but the guys too. Don't let
That's
them fool you.
awesome. Yeah, for sure. That's fantastic. Oh my gosh, I love it. So, I think I guess the bottom line would be there's so many amazing stones. Do your research, trust your gut on what it is for and take the time and work with it. Hold it.
Yeah.
When I received my little skull here, we did pipe ceremony, and like we worked. She's If I travel, she goes with me. I keep a connection every morning when I meditate. She's right there. This I select different stones at different times, and I've been working with her for quite a while on a daily basis. So, whatever you're drawn to, you want to make sure that they're just not an ornament sitting around. You want to engage with your stones and really utilize their healing properties to help you in all aspects of your life, right?
Anything that you are working on or you feel you need to work on, look up the crystals on it. You'll be surprised at what crystals can actually help you with that area. Yeah.
Oh, one stone, they just said, don't forget to talk about Andaras. Because a lot of people think that, and they like working with them, and there are very intriguing stones to me. I see an actual being in each one of those stones. They have their own guardians, each one, and they are they're kind of interesting. Like they have to decide they want to work with you. You could purchase it, but it may not want to work with you. And that's interesting to me.
There's a few like that, but you
Yeah.
get linked in with the right one, and that means it's your energy level is right where it needs to be to work with you. And then it says, we're on. Hang on. As we're going for a ride.
I don't know if yeah, Andaras. Andaras, is that how you say that? There you go. Yeah, they're very interesting. You have to watch. Do you have any of I don't think you have any of those stones.
I do not.
You're
No.
gonna have to work on getting some of those for me in particular, but
Well, sometimes you just can't even get a hold of them. Right now,
for
it just
sure.
seems like the whole COVID thing, tourmaline, it's really hard to get a hold of tourmaline right now.
Yeah.
Just the regular little ones that I like to sell for $1,
Yeah.
it's just crazy. Yeah. I know one of the things we didn't mention on is, we did touch base on the kyanite, the blue kyanite, but that's also
Oh,
to help you with
yes.
dream work.
Oh, yes.
So if you want to do dream work, there's a good one for you. I have a couple of them on my bedstand.
I have just a little piece of kyanite, and it's little, but I'm telling you, that thing is powerful. And
Yeah.
it helped me go through my own illusion. And
Yeah.
that's a very powerful stone for right now because people are trying to wake
Yeah.
up. They're trying to work through this 3D illusion of what's outside of you.
It brings
And
things out in your dreams to help teach you.
yes,
Yeah.
it is a very, very powerful stone. So don't let one of those little shavings think that it's not powerful because I'm telling you, this is a girl that can wear 9 moon moldavite and it doesn't rock me at all. And these
Right.
tiny little shards knocked me for a loop. But it
Well,
really did what it needed to do.
with that little tiny stone, it's so funny. I have employees and they just think that, it should be all the big ones. And I said, no, you put them all in there because you know what? Somebody will sit there and they'll take time. They'll fish and fish and fish to the bottom and they'll pull out that little one. Size does not matter with crystals. It's got to be the one that calls to them. And,
True.
so you never know. They're not out to get the biggest one. That's not what crystals are about. And anybody that really works with them,
Knows that. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's pretty cool.
Well, like, I think I had searched years ago for our Andaras, and I probably went through about 10 different ones, and I didn't care for their energy. And I
Huh.
found one that I loved, and it was so powerful. And Andaras are tricky little things. Like sometimes they disappear, sometimes they come back, sometimes they don't. Mine would disappear and come back. And it disappeared and hasn't been back.
You know why? You know why it disappears? Let me enlighten you guys on that. Is usually the ascended masters, they take them and they infuse them with what you need, and then they bring them back. It's like an Apport thing.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they must be doing something because it's been gone for a couple years. It
Well,
just disappeared.
uh-oh.
So I thought, well, if I'm not meant to have it and I'm not meant to be working with it, then it is what it is.
Aw.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. But there's so many. Your motivite is itty bitty, Elizabeth, but that doesn't equate the power of that at all. At
Nope.
all.
Not at all.
I put a small piece of moldavite and a Herkimer diamond. Now that's another one I like for
Yeah.
the vibration. And I sleep under a copper pyramid, and I have that up there. Talk about some fun dreams. That's fun. But
I have a little, like 12-inch crystal pyramid above my bed.
there you go. There you go. How nice is that, right? That's a great vibration
I've
too.
also thought, geez, if I took a big copper one and then I took the smaller crystal one inside it. Wow. I don't think I'd
Ooh.
want it over my bed, though.
It's a lot of energy, and a lot of people wouldn't like it, but I'll tell you what, when I don't sleep underneath it, if I sleep on the couch or I'm sleeping, back home, I'm just like, I miss that. The Andara crystals are master crystals with powerful healing abilities for increasing vibration and awareness to access universal knowledge upon open up the psychic gifts, DNA activation. Oh, it does all of that and more. Yes, it does.
Yeah, it
I
does.
actually, my Andara, I would put it in water overnight, and then I would drink it. The healing properties of that were
Yep.
so powerful.
Those are elixirs, but the only caution is you have to do a little research on the stone so it's not
For
toxic
sure.
to you.
Yes,
Some of
that's
them
true.
can't be done, but a lot of them can. Absolutely. Overnight.
Yeah.
Or if you just take a glass of water with no gemstones and just tell spirit, put it in whatever I need. First thing you do when you wake up, drink it straight down. You got your stuff.
That's a great thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that, Elizabeth. That is so true. Andars are really cool little crystals to play with. I really dig their energy too.
Yeah.
And that's where size doesn't matter with that one either, with any of the stones. It
No.
really doesn't. But I think it's such a huge topic to talk about and try to jam into just 1 hour. But I think we did a really good job of hitting some of the most common crystals to really help you build your intuition and help you ground and protect. And, most of all, have fun and trust your intuition and, just play with it. I mean, to me, it's so much fun. And you can spend a lot of money, so you don't have to. These little tiny tumble stones are a great start. They don't cost a lot of money, and that gets you familiar with that vibration and that energy of that stone. Well, I want to thank you guys for interacting. Cheri, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for asking.
Oh, absolutely. It's such a joy always to speak with you and share something that we love so much. So guys, this is actually going to be available on Spotify as a podcast so that you'll have that, and it'll still be on Facebook Live and on my YouTube channel so that you can watch the replays. And if you really want to check out Cheri and Stoneworks Wellness Center in Erie, Pennsylvania, reach out to her through Facebook, and she will be more than happy to work with you and show you some of the amazing crystals that she has in her shop and help educate you and share her wealth of knowledge about healing and crystals. Well, thank you so much, my dear. It was such a pleasure, and I'll see you guys all next week. Have a great week.